Hey everyone, welcome to another episode on mastering English learning and fluency. Today we will delve into some valuable insights inspired by interpreters on how to seamlessly navigate language challenges. Ever wondered how interpreters gracefully handle on-the-spot language demands? Let's explore together some lessons from their expertise, uncovering strategies to avoid getting stuck and panicking when faced with unfamiliar words in English. Recently, I came across a video that explores how interpreters juggle between languages in real-time situations. You can find the link in the description box below. Just a quick note for those wondering about the difference between translators and interpreters. Translators primarily deal with written text, while interpreters specialize in spoken language. This is the main difference, but as you can imagine, interpreters don't have the luxury of thinking for too long about what word they're going to use when interpreting on the spot. Now, you might be wondering, what does that have to do with me? I'm not an interpreter. Well, neither am I. However, as language learners, we can benefit from employing some of the techniques interpreters use to memorize words and navigate those moments when we can't recall the exact term we want to use. But before delving into various techniques, let's look at the qualities that characterize the best interpreters. This is important because from my experience, I know these qualities also apply to the most successful language learners. According to some experts, the most successful interpreters are those who are empathetic and can easily relate to others. Moreover, the best among them are curious and focus on the entire message rather than individual words. If they encounter a challenging word, they can quickly move on and find a synonym. They're also able to anticipate the message based on the context. Wow, when I heard this, I couldn't help but think that these characteristics describe the best language learners in general. Achieving such a level of fluency and confidence requires time and dedication, but adopting some of the training techniques used by interpreters can expedite the journey. Okay, here they are. For the sake of this video, I put them in a particular order, but that doesn't necessarily mean that one is more important than the other. They just serve different purposes. The first technique is paraphrasing. Paraphrasing involves expressing someone else's ideas using your own words while preserving the original meaning. To do this, you will have to know some synonyms of the words that were used and various grammar structures. Paraphrasing exercises are valuable not only for expanding vocabulary, but also for developing the ability to convey a message differently without getting stuck on a particular word if you can't recall it. With time, you will learn to do it so smoothly that no one will notice that you forgot a word. Let me give you a simple example. Let's look at this sentence. You have to move on if you don't understand a word. If you don't have much experience with paraphrasing, you can start with ChatGPT. It's a great tool that has the ability to quickly generate alternative ways to say the same thing. Simply ask it to paraphrase a sentence you came up with. For example, you can type the following prompt. Paraphrase, you have to move on if you don't understand a word in 3 different ways. And here is the response from ChatGPT. If there is a word you don't comprehend, it's essential to progress forward. Should a word remain unclear, the imperative is to advance and not dwell. In case of unfamiliarity with a word, it's necessary to proceed without dwelling on it. Here are 2 more examples that I came up with. In the first one, I swapped most of the keywords with their synonyms. You need to progress if you encounter an unfamiliar term. And here is another way. Don't allow yourself to get stuck if you don't know or can't remember a term. In this second example, I didn't use the exact synonyms, but I kept the same idea while using my own words. Knowing how to say anything in a different way will give you a lot of confidence, and confident speakers already appear more fluent. The next technique to explore is shadowing. In a nutshell, shadowing is a method where you listen to someone speaking and repeat their words verbatim. The focus here is on the sounds of the language, which include everything from vowels and consonants to intonation, word and sentence stress, and rhythm. Shadowing is a great way to work on your pronunciation, so give it a try and let me know what you think about it. I have 2 more videos on shadowing. Make sure to check them out if you haven't done it yet. You can find the links in the description box. We always want to be perfect at everything to go out and do it. And that's what stops us from doing things. So I feel like that's a really good place to kind of start, because you did it without it, and you built a 9-figure business, maybe more, I don't know now, but you built a business that's thriving and so huge without it. Actually moved out to California. I didn't have a job. I barely had any money. I didn't know anything about California, but I was like, I have to go out there and I have to learn from people who are the best, and I'll work under them. I'll work where I have to go, because then eventually I can become the best because I've learned from the best, and I can have my own business. Another technique interpreters use to practice is omitting a sentence from a speech and connecting the other sentences while preserving the original idea so that no one notices that a phrase is missing. The goal of this exercise is to be able to recover fast if you miss something. Of course, there is a risk of skipping a sentence that contains crucial information, but you can practice omitting non-essential parts while still focusing on preserving the overall meaning. Let's do a quick exercise. I'm going to show you a short paragraph generated earlier by ChatGPT. Now, pause the video, read the text, and identify 1 or more sentences that can be removed without losing the key information. Okay, how did you do? Were you able to identify some less important sentences? Was it easy for you? Here are my picks. The first non-essential sentence, and the second one, and here is the full text after the omission of these 2 sentences. See how the text got shorter but is not missing any important information? As I said, the point of this exercise is to learn not to panic if you don't understand something, and to be able to quickly regain confidence and make sense of the whole thing without getting stuck on one part. I hope you try it. You can either practice interactively by using a chatbot or with any text from a book, article, etc. It's not only good for your English and self-confidence, but it's also fun. Alright, the last technique I'll talk about is answering random questions quickly. To try this out, you can use a random question generator. If you Google random question generator, you'll find multiple options. One example is randomwordgenerator.com. Simply go to the random question page, use the button Generate Random Questions, and keep answering the questions it generates. Here is how I do it. What do you wish you had more talent doing? I wish I found technology a little bit more intuitive. I often get stuck when I have to do anything tech-related, and I wish I could just figure out stuff on my computer on my own. What food combination do you eat that makes others cringe? It's not a combination, but it's still something very weird and people find it super weird. I actually love eating raw lemons with the skin on them. And when I show this to people, people can't believe that somebody would do that without making funny faces. What is the last thing that you totally overreacted to? It was when I was on the top of the Empire State Building and the elevator stopped working. I had to walk downstairs, and at the end I was so angry that I almost yelled at someone. Okay, I just made up this story on the spot because I couldn't think of anything at the moment. But the point here is not to be truthful, but to come up with an answer quickly and to keep talking. The objective here is to answer quickly without overthinking and to maintain a continuous flow of speech. It doesn't matter if your answers are true or made up, just try not to get stuck. You can increase the speed at which you change questions as you get more comfortable. Guys, I know this seems like a lot of practice, but it's also a lot of fun. And you don't have to use all techniques at once. You can focus one day on paraphrasing and the next on shadowing and so on. And even 30 minutes a day will make a difference over time. Again, the purpose of all these exercises is to train you to focus on the overall idea and concept instead of getting stalled by a word you may not understand. Alright, my friends, that's it for today. Let me know in the comments which practice you think would be the easiest and the most challenging for you. If you learned something from this video, hit the like button and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.